All right, welcome to the lab. This is episode 36-ish, we think. And today we have another guest with us. We got Brit Latham, lifter extraordinaire, rugby extraordinaire, cool person. But before that, how was everybody doing today?
Good.
Thanks.
I'm doing good.
Doing great.
Everybody enjoying this fine Sunday. It was at least pretty here. How is it cold
nice
out there yet?
Well. Here?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, it gets cold at night, so it gets into the 30s. But high so far right now it's 62. So, not cold, but not hot.
No. Yeah, what's new with you, Cody? Anything new and exciting from this week?
Not really. Yeah, just kind of the same shit, different day. Knee still broken, insurance still denying shit I need. So, just kind of the usual. One day I'll have something new to report, but until then, we're just staying broken. How about you?
Brit's broken too. She's got a busted shoulder right now.
It sucks a lot.
Oh no! What's wrong with your shoulder?
I separated it playing rugby, actually.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Last time I saw her, she couldn't even lift it up. It's like a broken little wing.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Cal, do you
nothing to
introduce our guest before we just.
Yeah. So we have Brit Latham with us, and I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit, Brit. A little bit, Brit. That's funny.
I'm Brit. I have been playing rugby for 12 years, and I know Kel through Maddie, so we play rugby together. I actually started lifting probably 3 years ago, I think, actually legit lifting, kind of just picking things up on my own and learning from other people, podcasts, YouTube, rugby people. I don't know what else. I guess I grew up kind of all over. My dad was in the military, so I'm a military brat. I got to live in Vegas, Arizona, Ohio, Missouri, and England, which is kind of where the whole rugby thing came from. It's super big over there. I actually never played it there, but, you come back to the States after being there for 10 years, and I was like, all right, now is the time, in the U.S. of all places. But it worked out pretty well.
Did you start playing in college?
I did. So I played at Ohio State all 4 years that I went there. That's kind of where I picked it up, and I started it right around the time I think that it was starting to get big in the U.S. I feel like it's grown so much in the 12 years that I've played. It's in the Olympics now. When I was playing, they didn't even have professional leagues here in the States. And now there's multiple professional leagues, and it's an Olympic sport that the U.S. gets to play in.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Do you want to explain your position? I know. Just explain rugby to us. Start from the beginning. And
yeah.
How long joking.
Podcast?
I don't think I know. I've been watching you all play for a year and a half now, and I don't think I know half the rules still. But but just tell us a little bit about what part of it you play, because everybody knows that you get smashed, but
I hope that I'm not getting smashed.
Have you watched rugby before, Cody?
Smashing.
I've watched very minimal rugby. My dad's from England, so there's a little connection there, but I was born in the U.S., so all I have is the mention of rugby. I'm okay, so football without pads basically is my idea of rugby.
Yeah, I feel like that's how everyone explains it, because everyone here in the U.S. knows what football is.
Yeah.
So you are in the back line.
Yeah, so I play in the back line, which is generally the faster people, and I know I don't look like the fastest. I ended up there by accident. honestly. So I play 12, which is the inside center, and that's essentially, I would say, kind of like, all right, I will go back to football. I guess kind of
There you
like
go.
a running back. Yeah, I don't know what else to equate it to. So I get the ball and kind of just run through people a lot. So you have the back line, which is generally like the faster people that will like pass a lot and run a lot of the plays. And then you have the forwards, which are generally like bigger, stronger, powerful people, and they take a lot of the hits and kind of just move the ball in like, I would say like a few meters at the time generally. Like they're not the ones making the big runs. They're kind of just hitting all the tackles and stuff and moving the ball slowly, and then you pass it out to the backs, and they're usually the ones that you see like making big runs or long passes. So that's what I do.
And you do a lot of the kicking for your team.
Oh yeah, I do that. That's not like something that I usually mention because it's always in the back of my head, but I do end up doing that a lot actually now.
You're like,
I played like 12.
oh no.
Uh-oh. We lost. Oh, okay.
You cut out a little bit. Can you repeat that last
I
sentence?
said I played like 12 years of soccer, so like kicking is just always like in the back of my head. Like that's usually my first thought because I played soccer for so long when I was in England.
Oh shit! I didn't know you played soccer. How did you like? I know you started playing when you're over here, but you guys have done pretty well as a team together. You want to tell the listeners about your
Yeah, so I
team a little
played
bit?
for the Columbus women's rugby team here in Columbus, Ohio, lovely Ohio. Uh, I think the team started in 1991, so we just had our 30-year anniversary, which is dope. That's longer than most of our team has been alive. The past 2 years we've done really well. So we play in a D2 or yeah D2 D1 kind of hybrid women's league. So the way that rugby works here in the U.S. is you have a bunch of different leagues. So you'll have like the youth leagues, you have high school leagues, collegiate leagues, and then you'll have like a women's side. So I think there's only two divisions for the women's side. So you have a D2 and a D1, and then the next level would be the Women's Premier League, which is kind of like the pro league. Um, so we play that D2, D1 hybrid. Mostly it's split because, so like we play in the Midwest League. And the past 2 years we've made it pretty far in the finals. So last year we made it into the D2 Midwest finals and lost in the finals game. And then this past fall we made it to the D1 semifinals, I think. Unfortunately lost there, but we stepped up going to D1.
Yeah. Do you
I think your mic might be fucked up.
want to just take off your headphones and just talk into
I'll try
the?
doing that. We'll see if that works.
It might be the internet, though. Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Now you're clear.
Yeah, of course. Can't trust anyone with headphones.
That's okay. That's okay. Cool. So you're currently injured, but do you plan on going back after you recover?
I do. I always say that like I'm getting like too old to do it now that I'm like 31, but then every time I take a break I'm like, oh, I miss it. Let's go back. But yeah, we'll start up again I think in the spring, probably near the end of March, depending on how Ohio decides to do winter this year.
It's always a toss up.
Right? Yeah, so we'll do spring, and usually like spring is where we get a lot of new people, because it's more of a like a social. It's like a lot of learning and like fun tournaments. So like if you're interested in rugby and you live in the Midwest, spring is definitely the time to join. You get to do a lot of fun tournaments, and there's a lot more time to actually like learn and just play for fun without the pressure of like intense competition.
That's cool. That's dope, man. Switching topics a smidge. Um, Tell us about, because so you've kind of transformed your body by yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey and kind of how you started, why you started, and all that stuff?
Yeah. So in college, I was probably the epitome of like freshman 15 and then some. So I got to college and it was like, again, like most people, like the first time you're on your own, like doing whatever you want, drinking, like doing all that stuff. So I think like between my freshman year and like when we graduated, I probably gained like 40 pounds. Like I think leaving college, I was probably like in the 260s, which is like crazy. Um, and then for like a while, like that summer, I joined like a higher level like rugby team. So there's two types of rugby. There's 15s, which is what I play now, and then sevens. So rugby sevens is what's in the Olympics, and that's where you play 7v7, but on a full size rugby field. So the same size field that you would play 15 versus 15. So it's literally like all running. So I joined a team that would do that, and I had a coach like for the first time in my life, I think, that actually encouraged us to like lift and like do the conditioning. Like we would have like morning lifting sessions where we'd do a bunch of like TRX band stuff and like some like lifts, and then that afternoon we would go and have a 2-hour practice. So we were doing 2-a-days. Yeah.
After college too, which is crazy.
Right. You know, that summer after college, like you're kind of just like, if you don't have a job lined up, you're like, all right, well, I have a couple months, like let's just do whatever, and then, you know, start a job in the fall. So that's basically what I did. I was like, I'm just gonna play rugby and then like start working in the fall. So I did that, and I probably lost like 20 pounds doing that. And then for a while, I just didn't like do much. Like I didn't play rugby. I just found a job, I worked and kind of hung out and probably gained a lot of that back. Just, you know, as one does when they start working 40 hours a week.
Yeah. It's a hard transition for a lot of people, I think, is from college to like real life.
I agree. But then I don't know, like one day, I think it was probably like 2018. I distinctly remember. So like one day I was just like, I need to be better about myself. Like I wanted to get back into rugby. I had been playing on and off, but not like seriously. I was like, I'm going to get back into rugby. So I started doing that, and it was a lot harder, I would say, like after not doing anything for a while. So I don't know, like one day it was just kind of like an epiphany. I don't know. I'm bad with words. I was just I need to change like my lifestyle. Like I'm not happy where I'm at with rugby. I wasn't like exactly happy with like how I looked or felt in my body. Like it was just different. And so I just started one thing at a time. I was like, I'm going to go to the gym like once. Like I think my goal was like, I'm going to go once this week and just see how it goes. Like my little apartment gym. And I just kept myself to that. Like I'm going to go like once. And then, like, for a few weeks after going, like, once or twice a week, you kind of get into that routine, kind of like you guys talk about. Like, it becomes, like, a part of your routine, and then you eventually start to enjoy it. Like, I think probably after the first, like, 3 weeks, I got into the routine, and if I missed a day, I was like, oh, I, like, miss the way that made me felt. Like, it made me feel accomplished, like I was doing something. So that was kind of like how it started. And then I had like a really good support system. So I was living with my friend Caitlin, who is also on the rugby team, and she is very much so like an all in or not kind of person. And she was doing the same thing. She was like, I'm gonna work out and do this. Like she probably started like 2 or 3 months before I did, and that was kind of the motivation that was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Like I can see that it's changing her life. Like, I want to feel that way. And so I had Caitlin there also kind of just like, well, I'm going to go to the gym. Like, do you want to go? And of course, like on the days when you're just like, I don't have the motivation to do this. Like, I don't want to go. Just having that one person there to be like, well, I'm going. Like, you should just come with me. Like, once you get there, it'll be fine. You know, like once you're in the gym, it'll be fine. So,
once you're off the couch,
right, like having that motivation helped a ton. And I think that first year, like, yeah, I think I ended up dropping that like 20, 30 pounds again just by doing that and like eating better. Like, me and Caitlin got a lot better about just like not eating out, like drinking a lot less. Um, so that was kind of like the 2018, 2019 kind of thing. And then another thing that helped is like I started dating a bodybuilder. So like 2019, I started dating a bodybuilder, and it's just like all they do is go to the gym, as you both know. I was,
I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
so like he was constantly just like, I'm going to the gym, do you want to go? And that's kind of like how we started. Like, I think like one of our like third or fourth dates was like a gym date. Like, we were both like, let's just go work out together, because like he was already into it and I was in that set routine. Like, I had just started like that first year, like starting to love it and like wanting to like improve. So it's very hard to like, once you get that year in, to be like, okay, like now what do? I don't have like a plan or whatever. So he kind of helped me with that, because like he had like, I'm doing legs and this is what I'm doing chest. Like, it was very set. So I would just do whatever he was doing. Obviously not as intense, because it was not there.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have that like motivation and an actual plan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that for a while, and then honestly, like COVID probably helped a lot too, to drop that last like 30 or 40 pounds. I can't remember how much it was, because we were just stuck inside. So like me and my boyfriend at the time just like bought up fitness equipment. So we got like a barbell, a rack, some plates. The only plates we could find were 35-pound plates. So I had 4 35-pound plates to work with and a 45-pound barbell. So I was just like, all right, it's all or
Lift
nothing.
heavy or die.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is perfect for me. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't like bench that. I can't row that. I'm gonna get like 4 reps and be done. So it was a lot of negative like work, but it was better than nothing. So we got that, and like I think like 10-pound, 20-pound dumbbells and bands. So that was what we did all during COVID, and not being able to go out and drink and just like being stuck at home. I walked Kona a lot. I think by the time COVID like restrictions were up, he was done with me and Caitlin walking him.
He's like, I'm gonna need a stroller actually.
Right.
I want to be a bougie dog now. For our listeners, Kona is a giant French bulldog. Not giant in a fat way, but he's like a mutant, like hulked French bulldog.
Only in the chest and shoulders. He skips every leg day. But yeah, and then like, so once COVID was over, rugby started up again, and I was like, it was amazing like how much better I think I was just from doing all of that like lifting and having like that motivation to like go to the gym every day. And like part of it was I was like, I want to be better at rugby. Like, that is a goal for me. Like, that was like improving my body, and then like being able to perform the way that I wanted to during rugby were my 2 biggest things.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like you were extremely successful, because you like I would watch you run through people and just like little rag dolls, like just bouncing off of you. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Brit, you're gonna kill that little girl. But it worked well. So
yeah, and again, like I think the biggest help was like having that motivation of like rugby. It wasn't just like, you know, like, oh, I want to lose weight. Like, that wasn't the main thing. It was what I wanted to lose weight so that I could be faster and stronger at rugby. And then having a great support system too. Like, all of my friends and family, like, I'm a very like social person, and I love food. Like, my mom is Filipino, so I have Filipino family, and they are all about eating, like, and having get-togethers and parties that involve like food. But every time I would go
I've
there,
been to those parties. They're insane.
Kel always leaves there like, oh my god.
I've spent many a treat meal at Brit's mom's house.
Yeah, and then as you're leaving, they try and force feed you like all of these leftovers. They're like, are you sure you ate enough? Do you want this to go bag? Like,
her dad literally bought 2 hogs that they like roasted over the summer. Like, 2
man.
whole pigs.
Crazy.
well, the one was an accident. It was supposed to be one, but we ended up with two, and they both got eaten. So,
Hey.
yeah, having my family and my friends like there to support me and push me. Like I said, like my roommate Caitlin was always there to be like, "You can make it to the gym. Like, just go. Like, you'll feel better once you go." And kind of like a little bit of competition, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, me and Caitlin
You two are really competitive with each other,
in
so I
like a
completely
weird
see
way.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Well,
oh, you can go.
no, I was just gonna say, like, their apartment is built like what I picture your apartment to look like, Cody. Like, she literally has a bench, like her bench rack is in their dining room. Like, well, their like dining room is just a
We
barbell
don't need
bench.
the dining room.
Also true. You don't. You just need the barbell.
Yeah,
Need
we
the
have
little
like the rack and the barbell in the dining room.
Yes. Like,
and an echo bike.
Yeah, and
that's
functional
awesome.
fitness.
So it sounds a lot like, I think a lot of people struggle because they can't figure out their why, essentially. But it sounds like you had a pretty solid why, and so that is, probably a very big underlying reason of why you're so successful. So let's say at some point you're like, okay, I'm done with rugby. What do you feel your why might be moving forward, and how do you feel like you'll stay motivated to kind of stay fit and active?
So lately, I've been thinking about that. All right, so what if I can't play rugby? One of the things that I've been trying to do is like, I've been trying to set better like actual like lifting goals. So one of my goals, I think, during COVID or like right after COVID when I wasn't playing rugby is like, I want to squat 300 pounds. Like, that was just the thing. I wanted the two goals were I want to be able to squat 300 pounds, and the other one was I want to be able to do a pull up without cheating, like a real pull up that's a strict pull up, because like I've never been one to have like upper body strength that matches my legs. Like, if you saw me, like, I am all legs. Like, all of my weight is in my legs. So, like, those were the two things. And I ended up getting them. So now the next thing is, like, I've been trying to hit a lot of those goals. Like, strength goals, I guess, is what it would be. Because I feel like those are just the easiest in my mind to be like, well, I can easily, like, max test and, like, do this. So another one I have is, I think, well, now it's going to be getting back to being able to do a pull-up. But the one I had most recently was trying to bench press 200 pounds, and I was so close before I hurt my shoulder. I think I got to like 195.
Damn.
That's so frustrating.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sounds like powerlifting would be really good, like after rugby. If there was an after rugby thing, I think you'd be really good at it, because like like, okay, so I've Brit and I used to do Swole Saturdays, and we'd go to the gym and work out together. And like, you're strong as fuck. Like, you lift what I lift. Period. Like, it's not like you have all the tools. And I'm not saying I'm the strongest, but like, you're like built for that. Like, you are great at heavy fucking weight. So that'd be my suggestion.
So powerlifting in your future, maybe.
Maybe if I can keep myself from getting injured. I do like to try new things, so I did try like CrossFit for a little bit, like on the weekends. That was fun for like one day a week, I think. That was a fun, like, all right, I did all my other workouts. This is a nice change up.
Yeah.
Maybe
Active
powerlifting.
rest day.
Right. Active rest day. Maybe lifting will be the next thing. I'll have to find somebody that does that to ask them how to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find someone. Did you like? I know you had Caitlin in that, but like, did you ever struggle with like motivation at any point? Like, did you have any hard times where you had to like really try to convince and dig deep to try to get some of that motivation up?
All the time, literally all the
Yeah.
time. Even like, probably this last month has been a really bad like month, especially with the injury. It's really hard to like motivate yourself to go work out when you can't do like half the things that you like to do in the gym. Like, I have to modify like everything. I can't do a real push day right now, which sucks. So it's like mostly just leg days, and after like 2 or 3 leg days, you're like, okay, like I am bored.
And leg days are the most boring.
I disagree, but
I know.
I love leg day.
I know.
The problem for me is like I like leg day, but I couldn't hold the bar on the back of my shoulder. Like being in this position was like rough, so I was just able to do, it was like Bulgarian split squats, lunges, like goblet squat, all the things that I hate the most. Like the only thing I can do. So like finding the motivation to go work out when it's like, all right, I guess I'll go do like 50 more Bulgarian split squats. Like no one wants to do that.
No.
Now we needed to get you going on the belt squat machine.
I know.
I was about to say, hey, Kel, you have a little contraption there.
Yeah.
We did do it the one day.
We did.
Do it, yeah.
It's pretty fun. I liked it.
I liked it a lot too. Once you get used to it.
Once you get to it, yeah. So when you had those struggles, like how do you get yourself out of that pit? What is your go-to?
Mostly like discipline, I feel like, because it's like a routine.
Exactly.
I'm like, I just gotta freaking do it. Like, just go do it. Even if it's like, I'll just do arms. Like, I'll be like 20 minutes. 20 minutes is better than nothing. And then, of course, like, once you're doing it, you're like, okay, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And it turns into a full workout. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times I just have to break it down. And if I hit that 20 minutes and I'm still not, like, enjoying it or into it, I'm like, all right, well, there's my 20 minutes. I guess today is a wash. Or not really a wash, but it's like, I'm not going to force myself to do it the rest of it if I'm not into it or it doesn't feel right. I was like, I still did it, and I have the rest of the week to like get back into it, I guess. Usually though, when I start, I'm like, all right, well, I'm doing it, so here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like athletes kind of have this different mindset. I don't know. There's just like this inner discipline, because when you have coaches like constantly forcing you to do shit you don't want to do, so you kind of just build up this weird like resilience to being like, I really don't want to do this, but then you just imagine this coach in your head kind of like not giving you a choice, so that's kind of like that voice always just kind of stays in your head.
Yeah. Honestly, another motivator that I
go ahead.
now is, so during the winter, the past like couple of years, the rugby team has done a fitness challenge where like you get points for doing like let's say like 20 minutes of cardio will be like 1 point, like a full lifting session will be like 4, or CrossFit class will be 4 points, and you keep track of it. I think it's like January to like March. Talk about motivation. Like being in a competition like that against your teammates, you're like, I don't want to be last. Like, I'm going to kill all of them. So you're doing like, that was like the only time, that's probably the most motivated I've been in my life to work out, is trying to get those points to beat my teammates.
So you're just very competitive. So that's your little like secret motivator there.
Yeah. Everyone's
just be insanely competitive.
Challenge with your friends. It can be like fantasy football. Whoever gets last has some kind of like punishment that they have to do. A fun punishment.
That's what I remember when I forget who, I think it was probably you and Maddie. You guys were talking about after that fitness challenge of the winter, like everybody came in like so in shape, and you're like, I guess it worked.
We're all competitive. We like tapped into something that we didn't even realize. We were like, oh, that's all we have to do is say you're gonna win something if you work out.
Was it even a good prize? Do you remember?
The first year, the prize was like so we pay like dues into the team to, like cover like hotel costs or like referee costs and field costs. So whoever got first, like got all of their dues paid. So they essentially got to pay for free. And I think second and third got 50% the first year of it paid. And then last year it was the same thing, but also I think the top winner of each team, because we did it in teams. So, like, you had an overall winner, and then, like, the team that had the most points got something to make sure that we weren't all just trying to go out against each other. Like, we still wanted a team aspect. but the team that got first, they got like beer mugs with like candy and a bunch of, our team is the squirrels, so a bunch of like squirrel stickers and stuff.
That's awesome.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fun.
I love that. Do you think I think though, like with athletes especially, and just from talking to you, like I feel like working out is almost muscle memory to you. Like if you miss the gym, you're like, well, I need to get back in the fucking gym. Like I feel like it's not even that. Like yeah, you probably, and it's like everybody loses motivation. Like motivation's not something you can bank on, but like I've talked to you, I've worked out with you, and you're like, I just want to go back in, and like even when you're injured, you're just like, whatever, I'll just figure out something and work it out. I don't know.
You like start to miss it because it is part of like your routine, and if you miss a few, you're just kind of like, what am I doing? Like, I don't feel like myself.
So
Yeah.
I know you get super busy though, because like during rugby season you guys practice twice a week. You have games on Saturday, and then you were coaching also. How do you work everything in? Like, because you're a very busy person.
Yeah. So I coach right now for Ohio Wesleyan University. It kind of worked out. Their practices were the opposite of ours. So like I would have Tuesday, Thursday, I would have my practices with the Columbus team, and then we would play on Saturday. And then Ohio Wesleyan would have practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I would usually drop the Friday because I was like, 6 days a week is too much. But it worked out like Monday and Wednesday, their practices started at like 6:30, and I work until 3:30 generally. So I would just go straight from work to like the gym, and then straight from the gym to practice.
So it's just a
And that's
lot of
kind of
time
just how I
management and
work.
rushing.
Right. And again, if I was at the gym and I was like, all right, well, today I have 30 minutes, I'm going to make the 30 minutes count. Like, and also like, even though I'm coaching, like a lot of the times I can still run around with them and like get some fitness in. It's not like a full practice, but it's still active. So,
Right.
but yeah, that definitely
So do you-
wears you down.
Did you just like make it like an appointment in your head? Like you're like, I can't do this, so I have to make it work. Is that the mindset you went with it?
Kind of. And it was also helpful because it's like, all right, I get done with work at 3:30, like I have like those 3-ish hours, well, more like 2 hours to kill, and it's like I can go sit on my couch, or like if I'm at work, like in the office, I'm like, well, it's stupid for me to like go home because my office isn't that far from where their practice was. So that's also kind of a good like motivator. It's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna just sit around for 2 hours. I'll just go be productive.
Definitely. What else you got, Cody? Anything else you want to?
Would you say that like your nutrition habits changed at all? Was that like particularly harder for you than the exercise sport kind of realm, or was it about equal? Or this,
Oh, it's I hate the nutrition part so much.
Most
it is
people
the
do.
hardest part, honestly. And like at first, it was pretty easy because again, like I went from being like not super active to like being real active. So it was more just like I could like just cut back on eating out and cook at home more and lose a lot of weight. Now is where it's hard and like I struggle because now it's like I work out the same amount I always do, but it's a lot harder to like see those changes without eating correctly.
Right.
So the last year, I've actually been working with a nutritionist, Gentry, at Gen Fit City.
City, right?
Yeah, Gen City. So that's helped a lot, actually. Definitely helped me like change the way like my body looks. Like my weight didn't change too much, but I can definitely notice a difference between like how I feel and like what I look like. It definitely makes a difference to eat correctly, but it's still hard. Like it's still hard. That's probably the hardest thing that I can like have motivation to do is like meal prep and like cook and like not go out to eat and drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually like everyone's struggle. Like the move me part,
Everybody.
like I can go to the gym, but nutrition, man, yeah. So you're not alone there. What sort of things did like the nutritionist have you kind of change up in comparison to what you were doing before?
So I hate calorie counting a lot. I'm very bad at it. I hate, like, at first it helped, like when I first started, I did my fitness pal. So back in 2018, like at first it helped a lot because it's just like you don't realize how much you eat in a day until you like put those numbers in my fitness pal.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. But, after like 6 months of that, I'm like, I'm done scanning everything and trying to figure out how much everything is. So it was more just like, I guess, what do they call intuitive eating for a while, which is like hit or miss, I guess. But if you've been counting calories for a while, you should be like able to do it. I'll just eat a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
What Gentry helped with is she actually gave me like actual like this is what you eat in the morning, like you're gonna eat this much oatmeal and you're gonna have like this much fruit with it, and then you're gonna have a snack and it's gonna be like this much yogurt and like this much granola, and then your lunch is gonna be this, and then you're gonna have another snack, and then your dinner is gonna be this. And it made it, with how busy I am, a lot easier to like stick to that nutrition.
So my question is, did you have a hard time being balanced with it? Like, because to still have like a life and work on your nutrition and your fitness and all that? And if so, how did you handle it?
It is hard. Things can get overwhelming, obviously. Usually what happens is like if rugby gets too intense or work gets too intense, something falls behind. So sometimes I'll work out less that week. Like I will prioritize work and coaching usually, since like I'm getting paid to go do that.
Pays the bills.
Right. So those are usually the two priorities, and then it's either like playing, like the rugby practices where I'm playing for Columbus are either like I'm like, okay, well I can only make one this week, or I can only come for like half the time, or it's the meal prepping just gets like a little bit lost. So I'll either like eat out and just try and pick something that is similar to what I should be eating, or I'll just, let's be real, like I'll just eat something that is easy, like to already hear, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or like I'll just microwave a bag of broccoli and eat like chicken nuggets. I don't know, like whatever is the easiest or quickest. But usually it's not too hard. Like that only lasts for like a day or two, and then you just get right back into like what you were doing. I feel like as long as you get right back into what you were doing, it's that 1 or 2 days isn't going to matter. Even if it's, I feel like even if it's a week sometimes, like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I mean, you can't change it. Like, you just got to keep moving, keep trucking along. So I think you have the right mindset about that, just to get back on board when you can. Are we ready for my rapid fire questions? Or do you have more questions, Cody?
No, I don't. So I'm ready.
All right.
Everyone else is ready.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to hit, Brit, before we go into this? Or you feel good?
I just think, like, if you're on a fitness journey and you feel like you're struggling, I think that for me it was helpful to, like, find a team or a sport like rugby to find that motivation, or even just, like, one other friend. Like, I have you, Kel, like, sometimes when I'm struggling, I'm like, Kel, like, what do I do for this? Or, like, can we work out? Or even just, like, hanging out with you and, like, seeing your Instagram posts and your videos, I'm like, all right, Kel went today, I'm going to go. Like, I have, like, my roommate. And just in general, like, I feel like all of my friends have, like, very similar, like, mindsets and motivations. And that's, like, super helpful. Like, if you surround yourself with people that have the same goals and mindset as you, it helps a lot in that motivation department, or even just the discipline department. Because if you're a little bit competitive, you'll be like, all right, I'm not going to let you beat me at this.
Yes.
I love that. And I think it's Benjamin Franklin, and it's the quote. I always remember it for some reason. It's "Lie down with dogs, wake up with fleas," and it's the idea was like you turn into or you are affected by the people you hang out with, and I think that is speaking to it, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what your situation is and what your goals are, because I think once you have like-minded people, like people who do support your goals or do have an active lifestyle or whatever that your end goal is, I think it completely affects everything. Like in you the people that you are around, it's all going to rub off, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. Having a support network is killer. All right, here's my rapid fire. What's your favorite food?
Steak.
Steak. How do you cook it?
Uh,
Or like how? What? Like well?
oh no, what are you doing?
I don't know. I don't eat red meat.
Rare,
Medium rare, fuck yes.
Oh my God,
you're
Kelly,
great.
you know how many
Still
people-
mooing.
Yeah,
I
it's
used to-
supposed to be mooing.
When I meat and steak, I used to ask them to burn it at restaurants.
Yeah, well,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
why
alright.
you probably got your food spit on and shit.
I
So
was about to say, my dad, so my brother's fiance, Alistair, like refuses to have any red shown as meat, and like my dad loves to grill, like he loves
Same.
it. Yeah, and so whenever we would have like steak dinners or whatever, my dad would buy everyone T-bones, and then Alistair would get like the cheapest steak that my dad could find because he's like, I am not burning a good steak. He's like, I refuse. Alistair's getting like whatever like the cheapest one is, and he'll just eat his leather.
ground beef.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite pump up song?
Pump It by Electric Callboy.
Oh, I don't even
The
know
video
that
is
one,
also
but-
ridiculous. If you get a chance, you should look that up because it's hilarious.
Electric Callboy. All right.
Yeah.
Noted. Do you have a mantra for when shit gets hard?
I mean, I have a joke one that me and Caitlin have been saying recently based on a YouTube
Oh, let's hear it.
video that I've seen. So, any leg day, you know how leg days go. You start doing those squats and your stomach gets a little bit upset. You just got to push through and say, no poop pants.
No poop pants. I feel like that's something that Cody would say.
So far, I have not pooped my pants, but I get that.
True. I've had close calls. Do you have a fitness person or an athlete that you look up to?
Probably you right now, Kel. All of your Instagram posts.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Motivation.
No, I appreciate that. What's your favorite exercise?
Probably squats right now.
Nice. Front, back, or belted?
Well, I've only done the belted ones once, so
That's true.
I've been trying, actually, lately, the thing that I've been trying to improve on is split squats. So that's been the one that I've been hitting hard, because I've been trying to, one leg is definitely more active than the other, so we're trying to balance that out, and I kind of like it a lot. It's much harder than a normal squat.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are their own beast.
I do like those, though. Yeah. Okay, and then this is my last one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Ever. And doesn't have to be fitness related.
Ever.
Ever!
Good one. How do I even, like... Oh, man.
I guess we should have sent her these before, but I liked it.
At
Putting
least
you on the
this
spot
one.
better.
I guess it's just gonna have to be like, again, like, I think the discipline, like, one in general, like, when you start your fitness journey and everyone's like, you just have to do it until it becomes like natural and routine. Like, it's so easy to just be like, yeah, whatever. You just enjoy the gym. Like, you're already where you need to be. Like, it's different. But I feel like once you like actually get to that point and like your brain flips, you're like, okay, like that's actually like true. If you just keep doing it, like most of the time you will grow to love it, or at least like it enough to keep doing it. I feel like most of the people that I've talked to that have like consistently like shown up even when they hated it, their like opinion I think has flipped about the gym or just like working out in general. Once you find whatever it is, like it doesn't have to be like lifting. If it's like climbing or kayaking or whatever it is, I feel like once you like find whatever that thing is to help you like be motivated to hit your goals or be fit, like just doing it every day or however many times, like continuing to do it like to get to your goals is what I think like is the best advice. Like just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it even if you don't want to.
Like I hate running a lot, and yet here I am playing rugby where all we do is run, like
For 80 minutes whole time.
doing it right. That's my least favorite part, but like I'll just keep showing up to practice and doing all those stupid run drills.
It's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. Appreciate it. Just do it.
No, it's just
Thanks,
keep
Nike.
doing it. So
Just keep doing it.
fuck Nike, just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it. Love that. Cool. Well, thank you, Brit, for coming and sharing your journey with us. Appreciate it a lot. I think our audience is really going to like it, hearing the performance side, and I think that's really fun way to get into this kind of thing. Cody, what is our power talk for today?
Yes, power talk for today is. I can find it now. All right. Here's the quote for you. It's not James Clear, but you can accomplish anything. The only limits are the ones you create in your head. And I know that's like a super fucking simple, not very deep quote, but it's true. Because I think a lot of people. Sorry, hold on.
Technical difficulties?
I have no idea what is happening right now. Okay, did you guys hear that, or is that just me?
Okay,
No.
So like
wait.
randomly a podcast started playing on my phone, so I was just hearing the podcast playing. And now my headphones are
Podcast inception.
So now that wires got crossed, but yeah, so essentially you are what's holding you back, and it's really easy to overthink everything, think that there's like massive obstacles in front of you, but really with a little bit of planning, a little bit of perseverance, you are just basically your own worst enemy if you let the obstacles get in the way. So that is it.
Love it. I think that's really common though, because like I just had someone on my anonymous questions thing drop something about like, is it impossible to look like a cis man or something as a trans person? I'm like, well, no. It is if you give up. So if you just don't give up and just keep doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, you'll get there eventually. So I do think people limit themselves and dim their own lights.
Yeah, I think there's also this really, like, people have this weird concept in their head where it's like they know something's going to take a long time, so then they're like, oh, it's impossible, I'll never get there. And it's just like, well, it is impossible if you don't ever try or start, but, it's not. It might take a long time, but why is that what makes you not want to do it? You're never going to reach it if you just sit there, so you might as well do little things because time's going to pass anyways, so... Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. All right. Well, thanks again, Brit. Thank you, Cody. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Yeah, thanks for
Peace
having
out.
me.
Yep.